rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. Praise ye the Lord, praise him all ye servants of the Lord, praise the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord from this time forth and praise ye the Lord, praise him all ye servants of the Lord, praise the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Burlington East Presbyterian Church's Tuesday afternoon check-in. I'm Reverend Bruce McCanch, and I'm very glad to be with you today, and I'm glad that you've hopefully joined us live, and otherwise you'll be watching this later on today or through the week. This is something I started last Tuesday as a way of just checking in with the congregation and with you, wherever you may be, just to see how things are going and maybe give you a few words of encouragement, pass a bit of news and some funny things I've run across on the internet, as it turns out, to you, just to kind of brighten your day, I hope. Pardon me. Again, this is Burlington East Presbyterian Church's Wet Tuesday check-in. I'm Reverend Bruce McCanch. If you want more information on our newsletter and on broadcasts that are coming up in the next little while, please feel free to contact me. You can email me at the below email address. That's minister@burlingtoneast.net, and I'd be glad to hear from you and hear how you're doing. I've had some people sending me in some responses that I set up on Facebook just recently about checking in on how you're doing, and I'm going to share some of those generalized stories later on in our newsletter, and just to let people know how each other's doing in our congregation. Also, for our Burlington East members and family, if you go to our website, we have an online giving option to support the work that we're trying to continue to do through this particular time we find ourselves in. And you can also check us out on our Facebook page at Facebook, and that I think it's BEPC. You can see that also at the bottom of the screen. Well, one of the things I wanted to start off with today is that I noticed the mayor here in Burlington made an announcement about what's going to be going on as far as closures and dates here in the city of Burlington, and I wanted to share that very short video with you of Marianne Mead Ward, the mayor, addressing everybody yesterday, I believe it was, and then it was broadcast again this morning on the news. And I want to share that with you now. So I'm going to just go right ahead into that. Please listen as the Mayor of Burlington addresses us.
Hello, Burlington. Mayor Mary Ann Mead Ward, coming to you from the Home Office with a message. Today, the city made the announcement to close until the end of June. That means that all spring programming is canceled and all city facilities, community and recreation centers, sports fields, playgrounds, permitted park activities, City Hall and our administrative offices are closed. We did this for one reason only, to keep all of you healthy and safe, and to do our part to help prevent the spread in our community of COVID-19. We don't know how long this crisis will last, but we do know that it will be many months, and we needed to make decisions now for activities that are months from now, for the sake of our community and our community partners, and to allow us all to plan and coordinate our activities. We will do more than hope for the best. We will plan for the best, and we will be prepared for the worst. If we stay apart now, we can come together sooner, and we will plan a community party when that time comes. Till then, stay healthy, stay apart. Thank you.
That was Mary Ann Mead Ward, the Burlington mayor, and with an address to say that the city itself is going to be closed, and the city functions, city buildings, parks and whatnot will be closed until the end of June. Now that, as far as I know, is the first indication of a date that goes beyond the beginning of April. And it extends well another, 3 months, I guess that is. Something that we need to be considering here at our church, and many churches here in the city of Burlington are also going to have to consider whether there will be restrictions. None of that was indicated really. It was just a statement about the city itself and the city offices and parks. But it will have an effect upon gatherings and church organizations such as ours. So I put that out there for us to be thinking about, praying about, and considering as we move forward into the end of this month and into April, and then again May. In light of that, I announced on Sunday that we would be doing a special services through Easter week, and that's this coming Sunday, next Thursday for Maundy Thursday, next Friday for Good Friday, and then the following Sunday for Easter Sunday. And we'll be doing those also online. And I have some special things in mind that I'm going to try and do so that we can still feel there's a sense and semblance of normality going on as far as our Holy Week is considered. One of the things that I have been testing, and I will finalize this week, is the ability for people on Good Friday, if they don't have internet access, to be able to participate, at least listen to the service that we'll be doing on Good Friday with a phone-in conference call. Now, this is just a call so you can listen. There's no back and forth conversation, just set up for listening, but at least the people in our congregation will be able to call in on their home phones, type in an access code, and then they'll be able to listen to the service as it progresses. So as that becomes more available, I'll put that in my newsletter, the phone number and access code that's needed for that. And then I'm depending on you, my elders, and other congregants in Burlington East to let people know that that's available. And let's hope that everybody can participate in Good Friday and Easter Sunday together. Remember, we're not stuck at home. We're safe at home. One word can change our whole attitude. We're not stuck. We're safe. And as been saying all around for some time now, we need everybody to remember to adhere to the restrictions that are set out right now and to stay home as much as possible. And it was also announced, I believe, yesterday, anyone over the age of 70 is really encouraged to stay indoors, totally isolated from anybody. The only reason to go out would be if you need medical supplies or groceries or that sort of thing. And for those of you who can, if there's someone that you can help by dropping off groceries for them because you're able to get out a little more, maybe that would be very helpful if you could do that. Now, one of the things I also included on my newsletter yesterday, and I found the videos of these things. I found them amusing. I was commenting in the end of the newsletter about the various efforts that are being made all around the the world, basically, but certainly around Burlington and Ontario and the country Canada in which we live, by ministers and priests and pastors and vicars, as we see in England, trying to keep connected with their community and give them that sense of normality and worship. And it's been great to see some of the things that have been taking place. People have been doing wonderful things, sitting in living rooms such as this, doing services in churches. And there's some humorous stuff going on because we're facing these great challenges of trying to deal with technology these days. And as I said in the newsletter and my editorial at the end, that that's dealing with technology is not something they really deal with at seminary. So we've all been thrown into the deep end of the pool here, so to speak. And if you don't have any background in computers and whatnot, it can be a little bit complicated. So this first little bit I want to show you is about a vicar in England who was broadcasting from his home and trying to do a bit of a service. So, and let's just take a quick look. It's only a few seconds long. Let's take a peek at this.
The last section we call waiting, and it's a great thing to pause in the presence of God and to ask the question, Lord God, what are you saying to us? And then, of course, to wait for an answer. I've just been pausing between these. Oh dear, I just caught fire.
That poor gentleman set himself on fire with his candle beside his sweater, and he fortunately wasn't hurt, but just kept very calm, just kind of put the fire out, kept going. That's what you got to do. Something I know my congregation's always worried about with me on Sundays when I'm wearing my robes, waving my arms around above candles. This other one, I want to show you a little bit of an introduction to the next video, and I made this video this morning, and this is using Facebook Live, and if you press the filters button, it automatically changes these appearances that are on your face as you are doing this, and it's quite funny to see this, and you can walk around and these things follow you no matter what you're doing. There's a video of a priest in Italy who put his camera up in the church, stepped back and started to do his service, but when he pressed the button to start, he pressed the filter button, and this is the result.
Buonasera, ci ritroviamo insieme per pregare, io in chiesa e voi a casa. Oggi è venerdì di Quaresima e vogliamo pregare con la Via Crucis.
I particularly like that Blues Brothers look at the end that he had. Lots of fun stuff going on, and it's great to see everybody just pushing through and doing whatever they can to allow people to worship wherever they may be at home, and again to have some level of or semblance of normality in worship that we're doing. So it's nice to see these people trying, and no matter what happens, they just keep going. In fact, I wasn't free of that myself, because last Sunday, when I was doing the broadcast, I went to a couple of different screens and forgot to turn the microphone back on. So we had a long period of dead air, something I used to get in trouble for if I'd done anything similar. I'm looking down at my phone right now because a message came out from the Presbyterian Church in Canada showing some solidarity between various denominations, the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Canadian Rabbinic Caucus, Canadian Council of Churches, and the Canadian Interfaith. And I don't want to read the entire letter, but there was a certain little blurb I wanted to take from that. And this letter is available on the Presbyterian Church in Canada's webpage for download if you want to read it in its entirety. But I did want to share just an excerpt from that. During this time of crisis, we as religious leaders wish to offer words of appreciation and gratitude. Healthcare professionals are providing unfailing and dedicated service under stressful and difficult circumstances. They provide for us a powerful witness of care, expertise, and service in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. There's also the increased risk of exposure to infection, along with other hardships being experienced by so many others. For instance, while the rest of society rightly heeds the precautions of physical distancing, many remain at work in grocery stores, pharmacies, and factories. And it goes on from there to give thanks and to continue to warn us to adhere to the warnings that have been given out. And I do want to thank all the effort that's going on from our frontline workers, and those frontline workers are truck drivers, grocery store clerks, and people handing out buggies, for instance. We were over at Sobeys the other day to pick up some groceries ourselves, and there was a woman out there, and she was just wiping down the carriages for everybody as they were coming in. So really taking good care. So that's all good stuff. I'm happy that that's all been happening. One other announcement I also want to discuss here in our check-in is that Reverend Bablitz of Brant Hills Presbyterian Church here in Burlington sent out a note. Every year for the last number of years, the 4 Presbyterian churches here in Burlington have had an annual June picnic, and it's been at various locations. And last year we held it here at a park in Burlington, and the plan was to do that again. All 4 churches were preparing to do that. That's Knox downtown, Brant Hills, St. Paul's in the North End, and ourselves, Burlington East. And Reverend Bablitz just passed this out, and I thought I'd let everybody know, and those of you who are listening, elders and others, can take note of this. I just got a letter from Burlington Rentals that they have canceled our reservation for the picnic, which is really no surprise. They're going to refund the booking fee, which means he's going to reimburse the churches for what they've done. Basically, it looks like the church picnic is canceled at this point as far as going to that park goes. And we'll just have to remain to see, because clearly the announcement from the mayor today said all the parks in Burlington would be closed till the end of June. And we usually have ours, I think, the second last weekend in that month. Some of the other things that I've been doing is looking around on the internet for some interesting and sort of humorous things to kind of brighten your day up. So today I offer something. This is 17 Ways to Say No by John Christ, and he's a Christian comedian, and he does a lot of good stuff. So this is about a minute or 2 long, and I wanted to share that with you again to brighten your day up. Here's John Christ with 17 Ways to Say No.
Okay, ways to say no. There are a bunch of them. No thanks, I'm good, I'll pass. One of my personal favorites, for sure no. I don't know if you knew this or not, but when you got saved, you got eternal life, forgiveness of sins, and access to a whole long list of ways to say no that'll make you sound like way more spiritual of a person than you actually are. I don't think it's God's will. It's just not his timing. I'm feeling led in a different direction. Let me talk to my pastor about that. It's a closed door. I'm waiting on the Lord right now. I just don't feel peace about it right now. God has a different assignment for me. I just didn't feel prompted. I just don't feel like that's something that Jesus would do. But I just feel like I'm not in that season anymore. Can you help me move this weekend? But normally I would, but I just feel like God is just telling me to rest right now. I just got a sense that it didn't line up. Right now I'm in a season of new wineskins. What does that even mean? I just feel like right now I'm in a season of creating margin, and I just don't have the bandwidth. Are you even speaking English right now? I was just asking if you wanted to get a pizza. Prompting. How many times have I told you about the prompting? I'm not feeling the prompting. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling the Spirit's leading on this one. You know what? I'm not sure. Let me lay out a fleece on that one. Okay, I don't think anyone says that. And of course, everybody's all-time favorite, let me pray about it. All I'm saying is, when it comes to Christian ways of saying no, just say no.
Very funny. I like John Christ. He has a lot of very good stuff out there. It's a lot of edgy at times too, but really good stuff. Well, here we are today, and it's Tuesday check-in. There's lots going on, I know, for all of you out there, and it's interesting as we progress through this. This is basically our 3rd week in trying to lock down things. And we're hearing good news, bad news on the news. And as I mentioned on Sunday, one of the things that we really need to be doing is listening enough to the news to know what's going on, but not over-listening on the news to cause us anxiety and stress. And the psalm that I read on Sunday was a psalm of lament. And the psalm I want to share with you this afternoon to encourage you is also psalm kind of lament in a way. It's talking about things not going so great, and that I remember how things used to be, but we do have a hope in God. And it's Psalm 42, and I want you to close your eyes maybe, or just read along with me if you so choose as I read through this psalm that really does give us that sense that God is with us and we have a hope in him. As the deer longs for the flowing stream, so my soul longs for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? My tears have been my food day and night. While people say to me continually, where is your God? These things I remember as I pour out my soul, how I went with the throng and led them in the procession to the house of God, with glad shouts and songs of thanksgiving, a multitude keeping festival. Why are you cast down, my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my help and my God. That's a psalm that I really, really enjoy. I've read it many, many times for different periods in my own life. What I like in that particular psalm is the idea of remembering how things used to be. It's easy for us as we move through this in the next while that it's going to feel more like that. Boy, remember what it used to be like? Remember what it was like when we used to just go to church, and now we're stuck home. And why are we disquieted, as that psalm says? Why are we upset? We just need to hope in God and trust in God and be with God right here. And that's one of the ways to cope and to deal with these things and to actually even get a little beyond that. Today, if you're struggling with the anxiety and stress of what's going on, it's God that is in control and God that is helping us. And I would like to hear from you if you've been watching this again live or later on. Please send me an email, minister at burlingtoneast.net. That's minister at burlingtoneast.net. Let me know how things are going for you. If you're struggling with anything, please let me know. We're taking prayer requests at that same address. So if you have something on your heart that you need prayed for, let me know. We've got folks in our church, as well as myself, that are offering prayers for people. And just send your prayer request, and it's totally confidential, to minister at burlingtoneast.net. And I'd be glad to offer a word of prayer and maybe just start a conversation with you about what may be happening in your life as well. And I hope that uplifted you a little bit this afternoon as well. Well, we're coming to a close for our check-in on this Tuesday. Please remember that if you have any prayer requests, you can send those directly to me, and I'll read those, minister at burlingtoneast.net. And if there's anything on your heart, let me know, and I'll be praying for you. Let me know that you're watching this. It really does help, and it lets me know that it's working and all that sort of stuff. This is a brand new medium for all of us. And as I was talking with my colleagues this morning in a video chat, it's very different to be speaking as a minister sitting in a chair in your living room or your office. Very different than standing in the pulpit on a Sunday morning and speaking live in that respect. And the fisheye lens that's out there and trying to set up all the equipment and get things going adds a whole level of complexity to what we're trying to achieve. So if it's helpful, let me know. And if there's anything that you have on your heart, please, as I said, you can email us at minister at burlingtoneast.net. Please visit our webpage, burlingtoneast.net. And if it's so inclined on your heart, you can please click on the online giving to support the work we're doing here. This is a great saying. I found this also on the internet. Sometimes you just have to bow your head, say a prayer, and weather the storm. And we are in a bit of a storm these days, aren't we? We're in that storm that's telling us we need to trust God no matter what. And just as that psalm says we need to not worry about the way things were, but instead live in God and hope that God provides us for today. Thank you for joining us, and whether that's live or whether you listen to this later on today or through the week, that's great. I hope that it's a blessing to you. We will be here on Sunday morning at 10:30 with our live Palm Sunday service, and I've got lots of things up my sleeve for that, fun things, and hopefully a few activities for you to do at home while we're doing the service itself, and lots of music and a bit of a word for you as well. God bless you. Thank you for this, and please let me know you've been watching and send me an email. God bless. Thanks very much. I'm Bruce McCanch, Reverend Bruce McCanch from Burlington East Presbyterian Church. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Sunday. God bless.